Picture this. You and a friend both start out with exactly $10,000. You both want to make that money grow, right? But you choose two totally different paths. Just imagine a crazy, chaotic trading floor for a second. Screens are flashing red and green everywhere, people are sweating, shouting, some are cheering, and others are literally pulling their hair out in frustration.
One of you spends every single day glued to a computer screen, frantically trying to guess exactly where the market is going to go next. The other person, well, they just buy some really great investments and then they simply wait. So who do you think is going to be wealthier in 10 years?
Well, the answer might actually surprise you. If you stick with me into the very end of this explainer, we're going to uncover the absolute biggest mistake that causes most beginners to lose their money. Okay, let's break this down so it's super easy to understand. What exactly is a trader? Very simply put, trading is all about trying to make a quick buck from short-term price movements. A trader might buy something today and sell it tomorrow. Or, actually scratch that, sometimes they sell it just a few minutes later. Their whole goal is to predict what prices are doing right this second. To make this as simple as explaining it to a 5-year-old, think of trading like walking into a massive, noisy horse race track. People are yelling, money is flying around, and everyone is frantically trying to guess which horse is going to win the very next race. It's chaotic, it's loud, and it is 100% focused on what's happening right now. But here's the catch with that racetrack approach. Nobody, and I mean nobody, consistently knows what the market is going to do tomorrow. Not me, not you, and honestly, not even the guys in fancy suits who do this for a living. It's just flat out impossible to perfectly guess the future every single day. And, what happens next explains exactly why so many people get incredibly frustrated when they start trading. The stress builds up, the noise gets louder, and that guessing game, it just gets harder and harder. But hey, there is another way. Now, investors, they play a totally different game than traders. Instead of obsessing over what happens tomorrow, they're looking at years or even decades. See, when you invest, you aren't just staring at random numbers on a screen. You are buying actual ownership in real businesses. You're buying a piece of companies that make cool products, hire people, and actually generate profits. Think of it like this. You're walking away from that loud, stressful racetrack and taking a stroll into a quiet, thriving little neighborhood. You see busy restaurants, a tech company, maybe a popular retail store. When you invest, you own a tiny little piece of those neighborhood businesses. You aren't placing a bet on tomorrow's price. You're betting on them growing and succeeding over a long time. So it really boils down to this big difference. On one hand, you have the racetrack. It's chaotic, short-term, and basically just guessing the immediate future. On the other hand, you have the neighborhood businesses. It's calm, long-term, and based on actually owning something real that produces value. Let me ask you this, and really think about it. Would you rather spend your entire day anxiously sweating and trying to predict prices? Or would you rather just own a slice of a successful business and let them do all the hard work for you? But let's look at what happens if you choose that first option. When you start out trading, wow, it looks so exciting. Fast action, fast decisions, and yeah, sometimes you get some really fast profits. You see the chart shooting up, and bam, you grab a quick win. It feels great. But then, whoosh, the market swings. The future doesn't go exactly the way you guessed, and those fast wins suddenly turn into stressful losses. You get totally whipped back and forth emotionally. Buy, sell, win, lose. And right when that emotional roller coaster really starts to wear you down, surprise! Transaction costs and little fees start popping up on your screen. Every single time you make a quick move to buy or sell, it costs you money. So the stress just keeps building because your actual profits are literally being chipped away by the system itself.
This is the harsh reality for most beginner traders. Every single trade is a massive battle. You're fighting crazy market swings. You're fighting bad timing. But honestly, worst of all, you're fighting your own emotions. People end up panicking, chasing their losses, and making wild decisions based entirely on fear and greed instead of actual logic. And that right there is exactly where things start falling apart for the person who took their 10 grand to the racetrack. The chaos just gets to be too much. But remember our second person, the one who bought great investments and just waited?
Picture them just kicking back in a comfy chair at the park. Feet up, arms behind their head, just sipping some juice and peacefully checking their phone. Total calm. That is the investor. They are simply letting the market work for them. This is the absolute biggest difference between these two paths. Traders spend all their precious time and energy trying to predict the market. Investors spend their time letting the market work for them. One is constantly jumping at every news alert and flashing light, while the other, they just patiently wait.
But honestly, the real secret to why the investor comes out ahead goes way deeper than just avoiding a stress headache. It's actually about how real wealth is built from the ground up.
Just look at this timeline. In year 1, the investor's just riding out the normal market bumps, same as anybody else. But by year 5, their slice of those solid businesses is growing quietly in the background, snowballing as profits get reinvested. And by year 10, boom, that's when real, lasting wealth happens. Historically speaking, simple patience has proven to be absolutely one of the most powerful tools you can possess.
Now listen, this doesn't mean trading is totally impossible. Sure, some people pull it off. But for the vast majority of us starting out, investing is just simpler. It's way less stressful, and it usually works out so much better in the long run. Because real wealth is built over years, not overnight.
Trading focuses entirely on obsessing over the very next move. Investing is about looking at the next decade. One strategy is just frantically trying to predict the future, while the other is calmly preparing for it.
So as you go forward on your own financial journey, just keep this one massive truth in your back pocket. The goal isn't to get rich quick. The goal is to build wealth that lasts.
Next time you're looking at your money, ask yourself, are you just placing a bet on tomorrow, or are you actually buying your future? If you found this explainer helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Deez Finance for more simple explainers about investing, money, and how these financial systems really work.